Modern sleep medicine relies on overnight polysomnography to track a patient's vital signs. Across a standard 8-hour study, a single patient generates thousands of continuous biological data points, from brainwaves, eye movements, and muscle tension. Reviewing this data requires human technicians to manually score every 30-second block of sleep. Because human interpretation is inherently subjective, technician-to-technician discrepancies are common. Two different specialists looking at the same data often assign different sleep stages, creating a persistent issue with intra-score variability. Automated AI scoring systems offer a potential solution to this bottleneck. By processing physiological data instantly, these systems can eliminate the backlog of manual review and standardize the diagnostic output. However, integrating artificial intelligence into clinical workflows faces a strict regulatory barrier. Agencies like the FDA and Health Canada require complete algorithmic explainability. If the software makes a diagnosis, the manufacturer must be able to prove exactly why. This creates a paradox for traditional deep learning. Neural networks often operate as a black box, where even the engineers who design them cannot definitively map the internal logic that led to a specific medical conclusion. This lack transparency is often an insurmountable hurdle for medical clearance. Ascend Aegis Corporation is a clinical data science company that developed an architectural approach specifically to bypass this regulatory hurdle. Rather than relying on a single opaque network, their sleep diagnostic tool utilizes a hybrid pipeline. It pairs a transparent linear statistical model with a safety net of hard-coded deterministic rules to analyze sleep stages. This architecture institutionalizes human expertise into an auditable engine. It allows the system to achieve between 87 and 95% diagnostic accuracy while maintaining the clear logic required for medical validation. Before the AI can evaluate a patient's sleep architecture, the continuous biological signals captured at the clinic must be standardized. Raw polysomnography data arrives as EDF files containing up to 34 distinct channels of biosignals, often recorded with varying sampling rates depending on the medical device used. This diagram outlines the initial data transformation. Encrypted hospital files are pushed to a secure bucket, decrypted by the backend, and then re-chunked to concatenate the various data fragments into a single file. Because different manufacturers use different naming conventions for sensors, like an EOGR versus a right eye sensor, the pipeline must first harmonize these channels to ensure the AI recognizes the signal source correctly. A specific module, the EDF feature extractor, then crunches those 34 messy channels and stores the results in a clean Parquet file format. The output of this extraction provides 7 specific, normalized numerical features for every 30-second epoch. These represent the 5 primary EEG brainwave bands, muscle tension, and eye movement. These features have direct physiological correlations. Delta waves are characteristic of deep sleep, while alpha waves are associated with relaxed wakefulness. This transformation ensures the AI decision engine receives a mathematically uniform input, regardless of which hospital or device originally recorded the patient's data. With the data cleaned, the actual diagnostic work begins within the AASM sleep scoring script, a module designed for regulatory transparency. The process starts with linear scoring. The model takes those 7 standardized features and multiplies them by a predefined weight matrix, adding a baseline bias. The weights are physiologically grounded. For instance, the calculation for N3 deep sleep heavily weights the delta wave input, while wake calculations place higher weights on alpha waves and muscle tension. These raw mathematical scores then pass through a softmax function, which converts them into 5 distinct percentage probabilities, 1 for each sleep stage. Finally, the algorithm uses an argmax function to select the stage with the highest statistical probability. Where a human technician must weigh these factors over hours of review, the linear model categorizes the data almost instantly. By using linear algebra rather than a hidden neural network, every statistical guess can be perfectly traced, audited, and explained by an engineer to regulatory bodies. Statistical probability alone is not enough for medical device compliance. To be cleared for clinical use, the system requires a definitive safety net to prevent edge case errors. This is the final step in the pipeline, deterministic overrides via the override rules function. This function acts as a strict clinical boundary based entirely on the gold standard rules of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. If the patient's data violates specific physiological thresholds, the hard-coded clinical rule will completely overwrite the AI's statistical decision. For example, if a patient's muscle tension crosses a specific threshold, the system forces a wake classification, even if the linear model was 90% confident the patient was asleep based on their brainwaves. This hard-coded safety net guarantees predictable clinical behavior, which is the exact mechanism that allows the software to be validated for medical use. But predicting a single isolated 30-second block is only half the battle. Human sleep technicians do not score in total isolation. Classical machine learning models like XGBoost or random forests evaluate data points independently. They have no memory of what happened previously. As shown in this XGBoost tree, the model makes a decision by splitting features at varying thresholds, like signal variance or amplitude, to arrive at a leaf node classification. While this prototype reached 60% accuracy, it is incapable of capturing the temporal dependencies of sleep. Human clinical logic requires context. To accurately predict the current sleep stage, you must know what happened in the minutes leading up to it. To solve this sequential problem, the Aegis architecture transitions to advanced deep learning architectures like LSTMs. These models utilize a recursive formulation. As this diagram illustrates, information is passed forward from a previous time step to the current one. This horizontal connection represents a hidden state. It acts as a memory buffer, mimicking a human technician's contextual awareness of the patient's previous sleep stages. Aegis trains this memory through a highly structured application of reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. The feedback is encoded in RML files, the physical files containing human-verified annotations created by MedSleep technicians. The system executes a supervised learning loop by mathematically minimizing a cross-entropy loss function. It constantly measures the delta between the AI's prediction and the human's ground truth label. This architectural feedback loop institutionalizes human expertise, forcing the AI to continuously align its sequential logic with gold standard manual scoring. The real-world success of this hybrid pipeline is measured through rigorous clinical validation trials. The results across macrometrics are conclusive. The Aegis system achieved a mean 95.4% accuracy in sleep efficiency compared to manual human scoring. For total sleep time, the system maintained a consistent average accuracy of 94.1%. Stage-specific fidelity is also high, with the engine showing strong performance in recognizing both stage N2 and REM sleep. Ultimately, this high performance is a direct result of the perfect synchronization of logic across the entire multi-layered pipeline. The validation data proves that the Aegis pipeline successfully matches or exceeds the diagnostic consistency of human specialists. For years, medical technology has faced a choice between high-accuracy but opaque AI models, or transparent but less precise classical models. Aegis has proven this is a false dichotomy. By marrying auditable linear scoring with the sequential memory of deep learning, they have achieved both accuracy and clinical auditability. Ascend Aegis has created a scalable, standardized blueprint that removes the manual bottleneck and provides a verifiable, data-driven baseline for the future of clinical sleep diagnostics.